Coming up on OU Nightly, I'm talking fire weather, severe weather, and solar weather, all expected to impact us in the next 72 hours.
The Medieval Fair back in Norman tonight. A live report ahead. Plus, the solar eclipse coming up on Monday, what you can expect to see from Norman. This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Stone Weber.
And I'm Ireland Fitzer. Tonight we are looking ahead at our weather this weekend and a chance of thunderstorms in the state.
Let's head over to OU Nightly meteorologist Hunter Brittingham with our first look at the forecast. Hunter?
That is right, guys. We are talking about the chance for showers and storms this time tomorrow, but right now, if you're out and about heading to the Medieval Fair, beautiful conditions, 77 degrees right here in Norman, 79 up in Oklahoma City. That nice southerly wind fueling those warmer temperatures this afternoon. Grass and tree pollen, though, are going to be a factor if you're out and about this afternoon into this evening. But the good news is showers and storms tomorrow will likely bring those values back down. But later on in the show, I'll be talking about fire weather, severe weather, and I've got your look at the solar eclipse.
Thanks, Hunter. Today is the kickoff to the first day of the Medieval Fair. Turkey legs, lemonades, and jousting. What more could you ask for? OU Nightly Coy Taylor is out there now with a live look of all the festivities. Coy?
Yeah, Ireland, I got myself a root beer earlier today, but a lot of people have been in and out of the Medieval Fair this afternoon, and I spent a few hours taking it all in. The Norman Medieval Fair has taken over Reeves Park, from dancing to mermaids, and even rats.
I am the medieval rat lady.
Jan Travis volunteers at the fair with Cleveland County Emergency Management. Her rats Splinter and Pikachu hang on her shoulder. She sees all sorts of reactions.
I get one or two go. Everybody else is like, ooh.
On the other side of the fair, Tailors of Two Cities is open for business. Owner Deborah Billingsley sells corsets and women's undergarments.
First time somebody puts on essentially what's a corset and they have that, oh my God, I look beautiful. Just that moment it's really wonderful.
She says she thinks it's important to not lose track of history.
It is interesting for students to see that because it's radically different from anything they'll ever experience in a modern time period.
Both say the fair brings together people from all different backgrounds and they wouldn't miss it.
I look forward to coming to this every year.
Now the Medieval Fair runs through Sunday. Gates are open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day. Reporting live from Reeves Park in Norman, Coy Taylor, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Coy. The anticipation is building for the total solar eclipse coming up on Monday, April 8th. Solar eclipses happen multiple times every year, but total ones are rare. The upcoming one is even more unique because about 31 million people across the country should be able to see it without having to leave their towns. But some areas in the path of totality, like Waco, Texas, may not see it directly due to cloud cover.
I've heard a lot of eclipse chasers that said, yeah, we were socked in with clouds, even had rain, and then right as the eclipse happened, those clouds break apart. Doesn't happen every time, but there's a lot of hope here that does.
Now here in Norman, cloud cover should not be an issue, and we will see about 95% totality. If you plan to view this eclipse, please be sure to wear eclipse glasses.
And on campus, the Lunar Sooners will host a watch party of their own. The event will start around 12 p.m. Telescopes, solar filters, and eclipse glasses will be available for students. The Lunar Sooners want to remind viewers to be safe when looking at the eclipse.
And people in New Jersey woke up to a shock this morning, finding themselves in the middle of an earthquake.
What experts are saying on the rare quake that shook parts of the Northeast.
And cleanup is still underway in Baltimore after a major bridge collapsed.
When officials say the channel will finally reopen after this. Experts say the strongest earthquake in nearly 250 years struck the Northeast today. OU Nightly's Rachel Mosshammer has that and more in today's News Center.
USGS confirmed that a 4.8 magnitude earthquake struck New Jersey this morning. People in Philadelphia, Baltimore, and even New York City felt the quake, where incoming and outgoing flights and subway routes were delayed from the area. No injuries have been reported so far, but firefighters responded to damaged buildings nearly 30 miles from the epicenter. The Israel Defense Forces says that it has fired 2 senior officers after a strike that killed aid workers on Monday. The military says that the strike was carried out in serious violation of the commands and dismissed a major and colonel in the reserve. The strike hit cars carrying the 7 aid workers from the World Central Kitchen as they were leaving to deliver food to a warehouse in Gaza. In Baltimore, officials have set a timeline for plans to reopen the channel leading to the Francis Scott Key Bridge after it collapsed last week. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says that the channel is set to reopen by May, with limited channel access as early as late April. Cleanup continues, as well as the recovery of 4 missing construction workers. And Walmart settled to pay $45 million in a class action lawsuit after sold by weight items such as produce and meat were sold for more than advertised in stores. Stone, Ireland.
Thanks, Rachel. One comic book responsible for putting a special superhero on the map is selling for a pretty penny.
Find out the record-breaking price this comic sold for and which one it is up next to Know You Nightly.
Plus, several modes of weather will be impacting Oklahoma over the next 72 hours. After the break, I'll tell you all about it. Stay with us. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday afternoon, taking a live look at our Weather Center camera right now, taking a look at Highway 9. We are sitting at 77 degrees under sunny conditions. A bit windy out there right now. Southeast wind coming in at 15 miles per hour. That is fueling a lot of this warm air that we are seeing right now out of the southeast at 15 here in Norman, 11 in Oklahoma City. The Panhandle and western Oklahoma is getting in on a little bit more of those windy conditions, and that is why there is an elevated danger outlook for fire conditions heading into this weekend. So for Saturday, areas just to the west of our vicinity are under that elevated and then more critical fire conditions into the Panhandle and far western Oklahoma. But the good news is that fire conditions are going to be improving as we head throughout the weekend and into the early part of next week. So that is good news, but before then we are really going to be seeing a lot of those windy conditions. So heading into this evening, we already are seeing those wind gusts in the teens and even 20s in some areas, and then off to the west, we are really going to be seeing a shift in those winds, and that is really going to be making those prime fire conditions. So 57 mile per hour wind gusts expected in Guyman tomorrow afternoon. So the big event tomorrow here in Norman might be a bit windy. Not might be, it is going to be very windy out there, and those winds are going to continue to shift over the next few days, and as they do so, we are going to see some periods in those fire activities. Now, I do want to mention we do have a marginal risk for severe storms for the day on Saturday, and it's going to clip extreme eastern Cleveland and Oklahoma counties and points off towards the northeast, so impacting Tulsa and Miami. Areas could be seeing some large hail and some damaging winds up to about 60 miles per hour. So we are all talking about the solar eclipse that is going to be happening on Monday. So max totality is going to be in the Idabel region, so just to the southeast of here. We're looking for that to last just a bit over 4 minutes, and the eclipse is going to start at about 1227, peaking at 150 and being entirely out of the picture by 3:07 p.m. So the big question is, how much in the way of cloud cover are we going to be seeing? Well, I'm going to show that to you. So by 4 p.m. tomorrow, could be expecting some scattered showers, maybe some isolated thunderstorms, a few which might be strong to severe limits. Those are going to quickly move out of the picture for the day on Sunday, and that is going to be the beautiful day of the weekend. But heading into the day on Monday, we're going to start to see some more of those clouds building at 2 p.m. on Monday. Right through the totality, we are going to be experiencing some cloud cover, possibly some isolated showers, and even some thunderstorms heading into the remainder of the day Monday and starting the day on Tuesday. But the next 7 days, once we get through the rain showers and storms from Monday, Tuesday, and even into the next day on Wednesday, we will start to see those temperatures be a bit more mild for this time of year, and then they are going to quickly be back to some springtime temperatures heading into the middle part and the end of next week. So definitely going to be seeing a lot of modes of weather out there, a lot of exciting stuff, and you know, we're not going to see another total eclipse in North America until 2044.
Wow, thanks, Hunter. And I know that the weather's kind of iffy this weekend, so what times and what exact dates this weekend do you think we should get out there and enjoy the weather?
If you want some dry conditions, definitely tomorrow morning, but it is going to be windy, so you have that you kind of have that catch-22 with. But then it's going to be rainy heading into the day on Saturday evening, and then Sunday it's going to be much more clear. So I would say Sunday is your best bet this weekend.
So Saturday after the morning, bad. Sunday, good.
Yes.
For the medieval fair.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Hunter. Going once, going twice, and sold for this high-priced comic book. This comic book sold for $6 million. And why? It's not just any comic book, but it's the comic book that introduced the infamous superhero Superman. The sale breaks its own world record when back in 2021, the same comic sold for $5.3 million. And OU football is now 2 weeks into spring practice, and some new faces are making an impact in the Crimson and Cream.
Up next in Big Friday Sports, a live report on who to watch for at the Palace on the Prairie in the spring game. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. I'm Kaylee Carnine.
And I'm Kenzie Eiserman. We have a full show for you today, so let's get into it. We start off with a top 5 match between two rivals. Starting on the mound, OU softball is hitting the road to Austin for the Red River Showdown. The #1 Sooners lead the series 57 to Texas's 25 wins. The 3-game series begins tonight at 5:30 p.m. and head coach Patty Gasso is looking forward to the thrill of the rivalry.
It's fun to play in front of any kind of crowd, whether they're for you or against you. When you hear the sound and the excitement, it just kind of drives your adrenaline a bit. So they're looking forward to it. It's always going to be a very competitive, very intense type game. There's a lot of theatrics at times and a lot going on.
And another big rivalry game for OU baseball tonight. Not the Texas Burnt Orange, but Oklahoma State Bright Orange. Last time these two faced off this season, OU lost at home in L. Dale Mitchell 14-5. But head coach Skip Johnson is not looking at the past. He's looking forward to the future of the rivalry.
Moving forward, there's no doubt. I mean, it's a great rivalry. It's a great place. Those two universities are big. You got half the state that's fighting for Oklahoma State. You got half the state that's fighting for OU. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, that's what it's about. And I think moving forward, I'd like to schedule them once a week. I mean, you're going to get better. It's a great program.
It's not football season quite yet, but OU Nightly's Abby Williams is counting down the days. She is live in front of the stadium with more about Team 130. Abby?
Now, I may have passed out getting you this interview from head coach Brent Venables, but OU football is not slowing down as they gear up for this year's spring game. And what's the team most excited about for this year? The team chemistry.
We can't want their success more for them than they want it for themselves. But I love the leadership on our defense, the returning players. I got several guys that have a mindset like coach me like a freshman coach. Coach me like I know nothing, and I love that.
Really with the guys, they've just helped me a lot, just being able to adjust to this college football and just all types of things.
I still have a lot to prove. I haven't proved anything here yet, and I kind of take that with a little chip on my shoulder, like I got something to prove. I mean, we're going to have a lot of leaders on the defense, even just in this class, I believe. So being able to see myself as a part of that, it's really cool.
The leaders of the team, Woody, Ethan Downs, Arn Mason, Trace Ford, Billy Bowman, they've all been Danny Stutzman, they've all been very helpful so far. And, bringing me along, and I know I'm an older guy too, but, I got to learn new things. It's a new team. So, they've helped a lot so far.
Sooner fans can watch these guys ball out at the spring game on April 20th. Reporting in Norman, Abby Williams, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Abby. Flipping onto the mat, #1 OU women's gymnastics continues their stride and are advancing to the NCAA Ann Arbor Region Final. The Sooners will be joined by second-place finisher Ohio State, Alabama, and Penn State in the finals. Despite OU's win last week, KJ Kindler says they weren't on top of their game.
We were okay today. We definitely weren't ourselves, and that started in the warm-up. Weren't as disciplined, weren't as dialed in, and I was just talking to them about that. No regrets. You're going through this thing. I don't want you to have any regrets. So everything we do from this moment on till the next meet starts, we need to be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more dialed in. We lost momentum during that meet a little bit, we felt, on vault and bars. Like, we can do things so much better.
And men's gymnastics is also flipping into championship season. Tomorrow, the second-ranked Sooners host Stanford, Cal, and Air Force here in Norman for the MPSF Championship. OU Nightly's Ryan Smith has more on the Sooner magic on the mat.
OU men's gymnastics kicks off postseason play here at McCasland Fieldhouse for the MPSF Championships, but it'll be a tall task ahead for head coach Mark Williams and company as they face off against the four-peat national champion Stanford Cardinal. And even though the tough competition is coming into Norman, the Sooner gymnasts know that they'll need all the help they can get.
In order for us to win this weekend, we're going to have to go 100%. I think that we're going to have around like 12 sticks, 13 sticks. And they're going to have a few mistakes. I think on their best day and on our best day, they're definitely a little bit better than us. They have some big guys on their team, but at the same time, like, we have some big guys on our team. So if they leave the door open and we have ourselves a day, I think we can walk through it.
We know that we're kind of, I don't want to say outmatched with Stanford, but I think if we apply, some pressure to them, we put pressure on them in competition with, home field advantage like this, I think that we definitely have a shot at coming out on top, and the underdog mentality is definitely the way to go forward with it.
We're going to have a really consistent meet. We understand we're up against Stanford's 4-time national champions in consecutive years, and, we'd been there the 4 before that. So at some point, the rain ends, and maybe that's our time to do it this Saturday.
The Sooners have a chance at title number 20 tomorrow at 2, right behind me in McCasland Fieldhouse, before heading to Columbus, Ohio for the NCAA Championships April 19th and 20th. Reporting from McCasland Fieldhouse, Ryan Smith, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Ryan. And, well, the hottest team on campus may be getting hotter this weekend.
That's right, Kaylee. Stick around to see if they can clinch their 11th straight win after this, plus a whole lot more.
Well, we are taking one more look at the Medieval Fair this afternoon, and it is a warm one out there. Temperatures still in the upper 70s, plentiful sunshine out there, and we are starting to see those winds really pick up out of the south, so that will continue into this weekend. But if you're heading out to Oklahoma State this evening for the Bedlam matchup, first pitch is at 6 p.m. Going to be hanging on to some partly to mostly cloudy skies heading into this evening, but we are going to remain precipitation free heading into this evening and into the overnight hours. But for the day tomorrow, for the second day of action, we are going to be getting in on some of those showers and thunderstorms.
Thanks, Hunter. Last night, number 23 OU women's tennis clinched their 3rd straight win versus number 36 BYU 6-1. The ladies opened the match by claiming their 15th doubles point of the season. Dana Guzman hit off the singles win column by taking down Tina Lee 6-0 and then 6-2. The Sooners' final home match of the regular season is tomorrow versus Texas Tech at noon.
And OU men's tennis is on fire, burning up the competition with a 10-match win streak and a perfect record in the Big 12. Today, they're going on a bear hunt, facing 27th-ranked Baylor at 6. And then on Saturday, they look to wrangle the number 4 Texas Longhorns. They boast the number 1 and number 3 overall players in the ITA rankings, so definitely one to watch, guys.
Swinging over to men's golf, the Sooners are in Georgia this weekend for the Augusta Hawkins Invitational. The tournament features number 1 North Carolina, number 14 OU, number 17 East Tennessee State, number 18 Illinois, and number 20 Texas. The 2-day tournament tees off tomorrow, and the final round is on Sunday.
A dark cloud cast its shadow on the TD Garden in Boston Wednesday. The Oklahoma City Thunder fell to the Boston Celtics 135-100. OKC was without leading scorer Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's out with a quad injury. The Thunder look to build off this game and bounce back tonight against Indiana on the road.
Did a really good job coming out of the half of stabilizing the game, giving ourselves a chance. And kept it there pretty much throughout the third. And then obviously they opened it up in the fourth. But I liked our response out of the half. We were able to make a couple adjustments to how we were playing to make ourselves more effective and harder to play against. And had a really good third after, hanging in there a little bit in the first half. Obviously it wasn't enough tonight, but, I like the fight out of halftime.
Moving to the NBA playoff standings, the Thunder's 2-game losing streak has moved OKC from 1st to 3rd in the Western Conference, with the Denver Nuggets, then the Minnesota Timberwolves above them. They are now just 1 game back of the number 1 seed.
The Sooners season may be over, but OU women's basketball is scoring in the postseason awards. Skylar Vann and Peyton Verhulst scored the Women's Basketball Coaches Association All-American Honorable Mention, and then head coach Jenny Baranchek is a finalist for National Coach of the Year.
Now, it's not March, but the madness continues for the women. We're now down to the Final Four. Number NC State and the top-ranked South Carolina Gamecocks face each other tonight at 6 p.m. Then at 8:30 p.m., number 3 UConn takes on Caitlin Clark and the number 1 Iowa. Clark is averaging 32 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists. The Worlds locked their sight in on her, but Caitlin says she's just here to do her job.
You're playing in the biggest basketball games of your career, so I think being able to block all that out and really lock in and focus on what your job is and what you're here for, and knowing we're not satisfied. So I think that's the biggest thing, is soak all that in and enjoy it. But at the same time, this is business. We're here to win a basketball game and hopefully win 2.
And on the men's side, it's down to 4 in the maddest part of the madness. NC State looks to boil the Purdue Boilermakers tomorrow at 5:09, and then Alabama looks to take the UConn Huskies on a walk at 7:49. But UConn, the reigning national champions, are looking to sink their teeth into a second straight title.
Take a look at this shot. At the Valero Texas Open on the 16th hole, Jordan Spieth gets the crowd pumped when he drains this hole in 1 to kick off the first round. Although he kept it calm and cool, this marked his 4th career hole-in-1. Now moving back to the Final Four, what are your thoughts on the women's teams?
Man, I'm super excited. That LSU game, Iowa, that was crazy. Caitlin Clark's going off. She had 41 points, 12 assists. She's going in. She's insane.
What do you think the final 2 teams will be?
Oh gosh, I don't know. What do you think? Definitely.
I have South
Iowa.
Carolina and Iowa,
Okay,
and I
yes.
think it would be cool to see Iowa take over everything. But thank
For
you for
sure.
watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Kenzie Eiserman.
And I'm Kaylee Carnine. Have a fun and safe weekend with some Sooner Sports.